The saloon doors creaked open, and the dusty wind of the evening carried in more than just the scent of whiskey and tobacco. It carried tension, the kind that prickled the skin before a storm. She stood there, framed in the doorway, her hands trembling against the folds of her worn dress, her eyes wide with fear, yet lined with determination. The men inside the saloon had been waiting for her. Whispers had flown through the town like wildfire, rumors about a woman on the run, a woman who had escaped the cruelty of a powerful ranch hand who claimed her as his property. Now, she stood in the dim light of the saloon, the place she thought she might find safety, but instead found herself surrounded by men with greedy eyes and hands twitching for trouble. Every eye was on her, closing in like wolves circling prey. "Ain't no cowboy here gonna save you now, darlin'," the others chuckled darkly, their boots scraping against the floorboards, their shadows stretching across her trembling frame. She wanted to scream, to run, but the wall seemed to press in on her, and her strength was fading fast. Then, in that moment of hopelessness, the saloon doors banged open once more, and the room shifted with the heavy sound of boots striking wood. A cowboy stepped in, tall, broad-shouldered, his hat tilted low enough to shadow his eyes, but not enough to hide the sharp fire burning in them. The silver star pin to his chest glinted faintly. Though he wasn't the sheriff, he was a rancher. He paused, scanning the room, and when his eyes landed on her, they softened for a brief heartbeat before hardening again as they swept over the men crowding her. The saloon grew quiet. The cowboy's voice rolled out low and steady, the kind that made men stiffen without realizing why, though their laughter was tight, nervous. "And who's gonna make us, cowboy? You?" The cowboy's jaw tightened, every step carrying the promise of what was to come. The air was thick now. She felt her heart leap into her throat. Leaving the leaders, one. The room went still. No one moved. The leader scowled, spit to the side, and growled. The cowboy's gaze was steel. His hand tightened. 3. Then, chaos. The leader lunged, his hand reaching for a knife at his hip. The crack of the shot echoed like thunder, the bullet tearing through the knife and sending it clattering to the floor. Silence. Smoke curled from the barrel of the revolver. The cowboy's voice was low, deadly calm. "That was your warning. The next one ain't." One by one, the men backed away, muttering, glaring, but none daring to test him further. The clamor of boots and curses fading into the night until only she and the cowboy remained. The piano player slunk away quietly. He holstered his revolver. She felt tears burn her eyes. "But you don't even know me." He tilted his hat back just enough to reveal a scar running down his cheek, the kind of mark a man earns from battles long fought. "Don't need to," he answered, and she nearly collapsed, but his hand was there, steadying her without force, without demand. "You're safe now," he murmured. She wasn't just another woman to be claimed or cornered. She was someone worth fighting for. She felt the first spark of freedom flicker inside her heart as they stepped out together into the night. The wind carried the scent of dust and distant rain, and she knew her life had just changed forever, not because a cowboy had cleared a room, but because he had chosen to see her not as a prize. And that kind of choice could rewrite a destiny. And friends, if you felt the power of this story, if you believe that courage, love, and standing up for what's right still matter in this world, then don't let this be the last time we share stories together. Hit that subscribe button, join our growing family, and let's keep the fire of storytelling alive. Every story you hear here carries a piece of hope. So subscribe now and never miss the next journey. The dawn broke slow over the plains, painting the horizon in hues of gold and fire, but inside her heart, the storm still lingered. She hadn't slept, not really. Every creak of the wooden floorboards in the small inn where the cowboy had taken her after the saloon maid, her jolt awake. Every whisper of the wind through the shutters made her fear the men from last night would return. Yet when she looked across the room and saw him sitting upright in a chair by the door, his boots planted firm, she felt a sense of safety, stronger than the walls around her. He hadn't closed his eyes once. She could tell by the way his gaze flickered at every sound. A man who knew danger never truly slept. When the first light of day touched his face, "We can't stay here." Sitting up. "You think they'll come back for me?" His eyes met hers, steady, unflinching. "I don't think, darlin'. I know men like that. Don't forget. And the one who sent them, he's the kind who'd rather see you broken than free." Her hands tightened into fists. "I won't go back to him." His silhouette, tall and commanding in the morning light. "Then you won't." "Not while I'm breathing." She studied him. She didn't know his name yet, and somehow that seemed fitting. He was less a man and more a force that had swept into her life at the moment she needed it most. The air smelled of dust and brewing coffee, but under it was a stench of trouble, lingering like gunpowder after a shot, guiding her with quiet assurance. People watched them pass, some with pity, some with suspicion, but no one dared stop them. They reached the stables, and he saddled his horse. The open plains greeted them with vast silence. For the first time in days, she breathed deeply, tasting freedom in the wind. Though her heart still carried the weight of the man who hunted her, she finally gathered courage to ask, her voice soft against the wind, "Why are you doing this for me? You could have walked away. You could have let them have me." He didn't answer right away. "Because once, I didn't walk away. I stayed, and the woman I loved paid the price." She felt the weight of his words sink into her like stones. She didn't push further. After hours of riding, they stopped by a stream, the water glistening under the sun. "They'll track us," he said finally, "but they won't find us easy." Her reflection trembling on the surface, and whispered, "What if they do? What if they catch us?" He crouched beside her, his presence solid as stone. "And again, until there ain't no men left standing between you and freedom." Her throat tightened, emotion swelling in her chest. She wanted to believe. As the day wore on, they rode deeper into the wild. When night came, they found shelter in an abandoned barn. The air smelled of hay and wood rot, but it was covered, and for now, that was enough. As the firelight flickered across his face, "What's your name?" He glanced at her, shadows dancing in his eyes. "Call me Cole," he said simply. She repeated it softly. As the fire crackled and the wind howled outside, she found herself watching him. The way his hand never strayed from his gun, the way his jaw tightened at every sound, the way his eyes softened when they met hers. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew one thing: she wasn't alone anymore. And that was enough to keep hope alive. Enough to make her believe that maybe, just maybe, her story wasn't over yet. The night stretched long, but under the watch of the cowboy who had cleared a room for her and promised to do it again, but of something stronger, if only the world would give them the chance.